Ladies and gentlemen, happy Sunday to you wherever you are in the world. We are now live, sounding like a real news reporter. Let me know. Let me give you all a few seconds to jump on. Oh, I'm hearing myself. I need to put my headphones in. For crying out loud, get your headphones in, Bispers. My word, what a fool. What an absolute fool I am. There we go. Sorry about that. So, let me know if you're all here on the chat, in the comments, if you're ready, if you're seeing me. Let's go. That is correct, Abs. My word. Look, listen, let's just get right into it. Sean Strickland and new. Can you believe it? If you saw my preview, I didn't give him much of a chance. I don't think anybody did. I think the general consensus throughout the world of mixed martial arts was that Izzy was just too much for him. Simple as that. But I tell you what, he wasn't. Izzy never showed up. And by the way, that's not me taking away from Sean Strickland's performance. Sean Strickland was awesome. Sean Strickland, the number one thing that he did was have confidence in himself. He didn't allow himself to be worried, to be bullied, to be intimidated. Because the thing is, a lot of the time when you step in there with somebody that's one of the greatest, which Izzy certainly was, right? You put them on a pedestal. So when you walk out there, right, it's really, really hard to get into your groove, to get into your game, because you look at them as this kind of like cult-like, god-like figure that, oh, do I even deserve to be here? Well, Sean conceived, believed, achieved. Dodgy Hodgy. Nice one, brother. Yeah, he truly believed in himself. He walked him down throughout 5 rounds. He cut the cage off, and he didn't leave him any room to operate. Izzy needs a little bit of room to operate, okay? He's a longer guy to use that reach. He's a great kicker. To use the kicks, you need the room. When you pressure, but when you pressure in an educated manner, that makes it very, very hard to use those tools. Sean walked him down. He was just enough to pressure him, but not close enough to get caught with the shots. He believed in himself. His defense was on point. His reactions were on point. And when he dropped him in the first round, that's when Izzy knew, oh my God. Because that right hand from Izzy, that was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. What a shot. So what happened was he backed him up. And this is Izzy's fault as well. Izzy backed up throughout the majority of the fight. Listen, I don't want to kick a man while he's down. Izzy's been a tremendous champion. You cannot deny that. But he was backing up the entirety of the fight. And he backed up to the fence, where it's easier to have yourself taken down, and it's also easier to get caught with a shot. But the reason why it's easy is because you can't move away. There's a fence behind you. Izzy has great footwork, very fast feet. Normally he'll move out the way, he'll bend out the way. But when there's a wall behind you, you can't do that. So Sean threw a left hook, and then Izzy threw his own left hook. Well, a straight shot, A to B, is always the fastest route. Sean threw a left hook, a right hand, and as Izzy's guard was here, he went to throw the left. That's when he got caught with the right. He got dropped. Sean jumped on him, almost finished him. And my word, what a tremendous start. Absolutely incredible. And then throughout the fight, Izzy just, it's like he was expecting to find that one shot Hail Mary. It's like he had too much confidence that at some point, I'm going to catch him. I'm going to take him out of here, like I have done to other people, like I did do to Alex Pereira, you know, and you can't think like that. You can't expect that. You can't rest the success of your title reign on landing one shot. You got to work, and that's what Sean did. Sean outworked him throughout 25 minutes. I mean, and that was clearly evident. You know, he worked harder using the basics. The fundamentals, a jab and a right hand, of sure. Great footwork, great confidence, great conditioning. But just the basics, a jab and a right hand against someone that has been hailed by myself as one of the most sophisticated strikers that we've seen in the UFC. So there's a quick breakdown of what actually happened. We'll answer some of your questions, and we'll talk about, some people are saying, turn the mic up. All right, well, I shall oblige. It's pretty goddamn loud. So I'll answer some of your questions, then we'll talk about what we think is going to be next. So let's have a look at this. Rudy Prito, please shout out my bro, Leaky Bum. P.S. You're the man, Bisping. Shout out Leaky Bum. Big up yourself, bruv. I'm so happy for Sean. He's the American Bisping. Reminds me of Bisping versus Rockhold. A lot of people say that. They always say that he looks like me when I was a skinhead. It's quite the compliment these days, so thank you very much. I thought Sean would do this, says Jim Lotus. Did you? Did you really? It's easy for people to say that now, but still. Better banter Mike or Sean. Come on, bro. Bisping Mike is low as always. It's not. Maybe you need to turn your computer up. Maybe you need to turn your headphones up. Whatever it is. Now the question is, of course, look, what went wrong with Israel Adesanya? I don't think anything went wrong. Granted, I can see the argument for maybe his schedule was ridiculous, which it was. And I know a lot of people have been pointing out that Sean has been on quite the schedule as well. And he has. He was on the last fight of 2022 and the first one of 2023. But it's not quite the same kind of pressure as championship fights. However, there is some comparisons to be made there. I think maybe Izzy was a victim of his own success. Got a little bit confident, maybe a little bit complacent. Again, you can't take that away from Sean. Sean went out there and beat the guy. Ant's got a poll up right now. It says, what was the biggest factor in the upset? Izzy had a bad night. Sean was awesome on the night. 87% correctly saying Sean was awesome on the night. Sean's tricky. Sean's got offbeat rhythm and timing. He's hard to hit. He's very elusive, but he will walk you down throughout the entirety of the fight. And not a single takedown attempt either, which I thought was tremendous. You know what I mean? Because everyone tries to take Izzy down. Sean went out there and said, nah, I'm just going to stand the whole time because I believe in myself. Hey, listen, belief is a very, very powerful tool. Mike, thoughts on Izzy effing his dog? Come on, who's that? Based Manel Cap. Come on, bro. Should have been on the live yesterday. That didn't happen. No one's effing any dogs out here, let's be honest. Was this more of a great performance? This is from Ryan. Was this more of a great performance from Sean Strickland or more of a terrible performance from Israel Adesanya? Should Israel get the rematch? And that's basically the real conversation point, right? And I think it was a little bit of both. I think it certainly wasn't Izzy's best night at the office. That's for damn sure. And it was Sean's best night at the office alternatively. But you can't take away from Sean. He was great. Izzy wasn't. But you got to look at the factors. Was it Sean that made him not look great? Yeah, it was to a certain degree. He walked him down the whole time. He put him under constant threat. Izzy was constantly moving away, constantly circling off the fence, constantly dancing around. If you wanted to be hypercritical, you could say that he was running the whole time. At some point, you've got to stand your ground. The only round that Izzy won was round 2. And that was when he stood his ground. And that's when he went forward, Again, listen, I respect Izzy and what he's done. You know what I mean? But there was just, oh, God, I've got to choose my words carefully. The slight air of arrogance. You know what I mean? Even after he got dropped after round 1, he was like, well, yep, over the top. And then just as if so what? Who cares? I'm not troubled. I'm not bothered. I'm Israel Adesanya. Do you know what I mean? And again, I'm not trying to kick the man while he's down. That's called being a victim of your own success, because he has been, quite frankly, he's been brilliant throughout the entirety of his UFC run. And I think maybe that affected him there. At no point was there a sense of urgency. We saw in the corner of Sean Strickland that, the corner where they were on at him. I mean, I thought Eric Nixick did a tremendous job. All right, he was saying, I love the term that he used. He said, listen, he's kind of snake charming you now. He's kind of hypnotizing you. You've got to go for it. I thought that was fantastic work. And there was a sense of urgency. Even though Strickland was winning the fight, there was a sense of urgency. In the corner of Adesanya, it was the complete opposite energy. There was an air of arrogance about Izzy. And again, I don't want to say, I'm not trying to kick a man while he's down. And the energy in the corner was just timid, blah. Do we even really care? Of course they care, but you can't rest on your laurels and just expect. You can't expect anything. You can't take anything for granted. Got a super chat here from Jumbo that says, I told everyone who would listen, you don't win going backwards versus a cardio machine. Everyone's delusional. Izzy's pretty striking. He's too good. Clowns. Well, I don't think that makes them clowns, Jumbo, but you did have a good point. Going backwards, you don't win fights. When you're going backwards as well in a fight, you're not gaining any kind of momentum. You're allowing your opponent to dictate the pace. You're allowing them to have the octagon control. You're allowing them to essentially be the aggressor. I do think there was a certain element of Izzy going backwards. He thought that when he went backwards against Pereira, against the fence, kind of played possum a little bit, and then he got the knockout. I think maybe he thought that was going to happen. But every fight's different. Every single fight is different, and you can never, ever take anything for granted. Dying Weasel says, what do we think about Izzy fighting Chimaev next? Well, Chimaev is going to get through Paulo Costa. We'll talk about that shortly. That stuff's coming up. Seamus90 says, no rematch. Izzy is now 1-2 in his last 3. Correct. Great point. And that fight was a one-side domination from Strickland. Dricus du Plessis should be next for Strickland. Yeah, we're going to get to that in a minute, what's next and all that good stuff. Pereira has now beat everyone who Israel has lost to. Sean Blachowicz Pereira is Izzy's dad. You guys are assholes. Vlad also says, never got a chance to thank you for the content you put out as well as all the exciting fights that you gave us. Well, thank you very much, Vlad, and thank you to all you 2,352 people that are spending your Sundays dissecting what went wrong. Well, it's what went right for Sean Strickland. Everything went right. And Jumbo saying there, a cardio machine. Strickland is a cardio machine. And he has a kind of economical style. But he looked like he could have gone another 10 rounds by the end of that. And he didn't even really get out of second gear. You know what I mean? At the end, he was like trying to go for it, and he was calling on to Izzy, because I think then he had the realization that, oh my God, this is it. End that Pollant. I'm not getting to that yet. We're going to talk about what's next for him in a little bit, buddy. So don't get ahead of yourself, bro. So now I've lost my flow. Where I was going to go, I don't know. Jeez. Listen, Izzy just... there was no sense of urgency. And when he watches that back, he's going to be kind of frustrated with himself. Listen, he didn't speak at the press conference. He got out of there pretty quickly, said he wanted to go be with his family. I get that. I understand that. Although there's been a lot of haters towards Israel this week. I think Sean Strickland did a really good job of, getting the crowd on side for him. And not speaking at any kind of length at the press conference will only fuel the haters as well. As Conor McGregor said, you got to be gracious in victory and humble in defeat, or gracious in whatever the fuck it was that he said. He said something like that. I forget what it was. But anyway, Sean Strickland is the man. Sean Strickland is the man. Would I fight John Fury in a celebrity boxing match? No man alive, Dave Radcliffe. No man alive could ever get me in a boxing ring with that man. Sean Strickland's first title defense. Crazy HD vids. Don't try and make me say racial things, right? That's just stupid. Sean's performance and the performance of you versus Silva. Which one do I think is better? Well, of course, I'm bloody biased, aren't I? Do you know what I mean? I'm going to say mine. There was more excitement. And I think also, by the way, I did a video, who's the greatest middleweight of all time? Is it Israel Adesanya or Anderson Silva? And sadly, the reality is, listen, it's Anderson Silva. It always has been, and it probably always will be. Because now, listen, it's incredible what Izzy did and being a 2-time champion and the way that he came back. But he's now lost 2 out of his last 3, as our friend said just a moment ago. And I think that's the problem when it comes into the rematch. Do you think what Sean had to say at the press conference had an effect on Izzy on fight night? And that comes from Ron Chang. Yeah, it very well could have done. It very well could have done. That's what trash talk does. I think Sean wasn't being overly... strategic with the trash talk. He was just having fun, living in the moment, but talking shit. I think the way that he turned everyone on Izzy, I think the amount of shit that Izzy was getting online, I think the fact that he had to jump on Twitter and kind of defend himself, I think it all kind of got to him a little bit. But the main thing that got to him was Sean Strickland. And Sean Strickland's right hand that dropped him. Because that dropped him hard, bad. And those follow-up shots, they were thudding blows from Strickland. So I think that gave Izzy probably a little bit of a flashback to what happened with Alex Pereira. It made him remember he's only a human being. And that kind of affected him throughout the fight and moving backwards throughout the entirety of it. And as we all know, and as I know, and as everyone knows, You can't win a fight going backwards, okay? You don't. I mean, you can. You can. But when it's razor close, the guy walking forward is going to be the guy that's getting all the attention. So, what do we think about a rematch? Ant, put that up in a poll, please, brother. Dana White said that a rematch makes sense. Listen, it's not my company. They call the shots. Would Izzy want a rematch? Probably. Would Sean Strickland welcome it? I don't see why he wouldn't. Because he didn't get a mark on him. He barely had a scratch on him. I mean, Izzy didn't do anything. He didn't really land anything of any real significance. I don't think Izzy was rocked. I don't even think he landed one flush hard shot, you know? So why wouldn't Sean take that rematch? And for Sean, it'd be a real good opportunity to say, hey, look, listen, this wasn't no bloody, no fluke. Missed input says, what's more impressive? We did that one there. Vlad said that. We never got a chance to thank you. We did that one. All right, bloody hell. A lot of super chats coming through. Is getting dominated worse than being KO'd? That's a really good question from Alpha Kenny. A very good question and a very relevant point, in my humble opinion, when it comes to considering a rematch. Because if Izzy had got caught, let's just say that right hand in round one, if that caught him and finished him, right? Well, we all get caught. It just happens. You could say, well, he got caught. But he didn't get caught. I mean, he got caught in round one. He got beat systematically, thoroughly, for 5 rounds. So it's not like... Strickland was clearly the better fighter. It wasn't even close. All three judges saw it the exact same way. 49-46 Sean Strickland, with the second round going to Izzy. And that's how I saw it. And all 3 judges saw it. And I think as soon as Izzy and Sean heard that, all 3 judges agree. 49-46, even before they said I knew, you could see from the body language, they both knew, we knew, you knew. So I think that does affect it. Now, in terms of the rematch, to be fair, hold on, we got some more. Former Beanie Man caused this upset. Izzy's jaw is broken. Thoughts on Izzy's behaviour post-fight? What was Izzy's behaviour post-fight? No, Ant, I said, does he deserve a rematch? That was the poll. There's a flow, as you know. But whatever. Who should get the next title fight? Dricus du Plessis, Izzy, Hamzat versus Costa. Ant's just going off on his fucking own now, just doing whatever polls he wants. I said, can you put a poll up? Do you think there should be a rematch? But whatever. I'll just fucking end that. What was it here? Thoughts on Izzy's behaviour post-fight? Are you talking about the press conference or in the cage? I didn't see anything that was controversial, if that's what you're referring to. I didn't see anything that was controversial. So behaviour post-fight, yeah, I don't think I've got too much of an issue. It would have been nice to see him address his fans and the people that have supported him, you know, and the people that tune in for him at the post-fight press conference. But I get it. Listen, you're thoroughly disappointed. You know, but you do have to go out there and be man enough to say a few words and congratulate your opponent. And I think he did that, but he kept it to like 90 seconds and then got out of there. You know, hey, look, listen, we all handle with it in different ways. You know, I mean, you got to understand that Izzy's an extremely proud man. And that was a massive blow to his ego because he didn't get caught. He got systematically beaten by a guy that you could say that has a limited skill set because it was just the 1-2, the jab and the right hand, checking leg kicks, low pressure, good cardio, great confidence. But in terms of the actual tools that he used, it was a jab and a right hand. A jab and a right hand, he outboxed him. You know what I mean? And all these kickboxers say, oh, I'll beat a fucking boxer easy because it's limited. Well, it all depends on the individual. Rafael Chasin says, salute to you, Michael Bisping, from Rafael Chasin, the Venezuelan captain. Thank you, brother. Do you think that Alex Pereira is going to go back down to middleweight? I don't think so. He's got a title fight coming up against Yuri Prohaska, reportedly. I don't know if that's official, and I don't know if I even know. But that's the fight that's rumoured, isn't it? So why would he do that when he's got a title fight at light heavyweight? He can be a 2-weight division champion. So I don't think so. Does Izzy deserve a rematch? There we go. The guy putting the polls up finally listens. Yes or no? Yes, 18%. No, 66%. No, strong view, 17%. So you guys feel quite strongly and quite adamant about that. Yeah, it's interesting. I kind of agree. I said that on my video last night. Listen, I don't want to go against the flow of the UFC. They obviously, they make the fights, you know, but he's lost 2 out of his last 3. You know what I mean? That doesn't really signify the need. But you know, we'll see what happens. But does he even want it? Does Izzy even want it? I mean, I'm sure in his mind he wants it, but would he want it straight away? I'm not sure that he would, because, you know, and again, I'm not taking away from Strickland. I've got to keep saying that because we know Strickland has a lot of fans, and I'm not taking away from Strickland. But when you look at the schedule of Israel Adesanya, it is mind-blowing, to be fair. And so what I'm saying is, does he want to go straight back into another 5-round title fight against Sean Strickland that just beat him? You know, if we look at Izzy's schedule here, it's pretty impressive. These are all title fights when I get down to it in a second. So we haven't got the dates here. Let's move it over here. Where are the dates? Where are the dates? Oh, there we go. The dates were there. So these are all title fights. February, October, March, September, March, June, Feb, July. There's been a lot. They're all the title fights. But look at these. He's been going like a maniac, and they're all 5-round fights. They're all championship fights. They're all fights where you've got to do a lot of media attention, press conferences, build up, countdown shows. I know Sean did have a schedule as well, but it's not quite the same. When you're a part of these 5-round world title fights with massive ramifications, the whole pay-per-view is centered around you. They're coming to your town. They're coming to your training sessions. They're doing the countdown shows. It's all negative energy. It's all time-consuming. It's mental energy taken away from you. And then you're doing 5-round training camps every single time. You know, it's hard. So the point I'm making is that maybe for Israel Adesanya, the best idea might be to just go and have a little bit of a break. He's 34 years old. He's been a workhorse. He deserves some time off. Because if he rushes back, and let's say Izzy and Sean rematch, if he rushes back and he loses again, well, then he's never going to sit for another rematch. And that'll be 3 out of his last 4 that he's lost. And some people might start talk about the beginning of the end, that he had his era. But more importantly, will start to affect the confidence of Israel Adesanya as well. We're only human. You know what I mean? Once we start losing fights, it all changes. It all changes upstairs. And when your own self-belief is tarnished, you're not the same version of yourself. It's as simple as that. When you are undefeated, you are a motherfucker to deal with. Because you truly believe no one on planet Earth can ever beat me. Right? But once that gets chipped away at, once that self-belief goes and you realize you're only human, then your style changes. You start to take less risks. He didn't take any risks in that fight, you know what I mean? But he just got soundly beaten. So I'm not sure that would be the smart thing for Israel Adesanya. Of course, do what he wants, and I respect whatever the UFC's decisions are. But on the poll right here, we've got 1,300 votes almost. It is a 82% of you said no. I mean, that's pretty emphatic. That's pretty conclusive. So, very, very interesting. Let's do some of these super chats down here. We've got quite a few of them coming in, and then we'll talk about the next opponents. I bet EA is pretty disappointed with Izzy again. I saw some funny meme today that when people when they get put on the cover, then they go and lose the fight. It happened to McGregor. He got choked out of Khabib. It happened to, who was it? Masvidal got knocked out of Usman, so on and so forth. But, you know, hey, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Silver wasn't a title fight. Whittaker got hernia. Yeah, that's fair points from Jimmy Governor right there. All right, let's go back to some of these chats. And let's talk about who should be next, right? Let's talk about who should be next. Let me just bring up the rankings. Here we go. We've got the rankings right here. So, I've been on the bloody... So, number 1, Israel Adesanya. Obviously, this hasn't been updated. The number 1 guy right now is Sean Strickland, without a shadow of a doubt. The number 1 contender is Dricus du Plessis. Then it's Whittaker, Jared Cannonier, Marvin Vettori. So, you've got Khamzat Chimaev versus Paulo Costa. The winner of that certainly has... 3 certain things of life, Daniel Barlow. And this is from Daniel Barlow, who's a very, very smart man, ladies and gentlemen. Pay attention to what I'm going to say. 3 things which is certain in life: death, taxes. And Michael Bisping is the coolest. Well, thank you, Daniel Barlow. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. Stop talking about myself. So, number one, Khamzat versus Costa. The winner of that one, certainly if it's Khamzat Chimaev, Khamzat's a massive star, right? And he's blown through everyone other than Gilbert Burns, who he beat, but it was a war. He would have a very, very good shot of being the next guy. But Dricus du Plessis is the number one contender, right? So it should be him. But there's another wrinkle, because Jared Cannonier was the backup fighter, and Jared Cannonier has a win over Sean Strickland as well. So, put this poll up. Who should be next? Izzy? Although we know it's not going to be. Dricus, Cannonier, or the winner of Khamzat Costa. Because it's one of those four. Okay, but who do you think it should be? If you want to ask me, I think the next person should be Dricus du Plessis. I think the way that he knocked out Robert Whittaker, the way that he's gone through the division, I think Dricus du Plessis, without question, deserves that fight. He has earned the right for a title fight. However, I wouldn't be mad or annoyed or even scratch my head if it was any one of the others. Jared Cannonier is a good case. He was the backup fighter. Just like Colby Covington was the backup fighter for Leon Edwards and Kamaru Usman. Now he's fighting for the belt, so you can make the same case. And of course, Jared Cannonier beat Sean Strickland in a very close fight. Khamzat Chimaev, if he was to beat Paulo Costa, again, no arguments there. Paulo Costa wouldn't quite feel that one quite as much. But still, there's your contenders. Who do you think it's going to be? Ant, stick the poll up, brother. He's just ignoring me now. My poll guy in the background, the channel manager. Ant, get the poll up. DDP, but won't be mad if it's Khamzat. Yeah. There we go. He's on it with the polls. Let me know in the polls. Strickland beat Jared. Well, exactly. Busy Bee says there. Strickland beat Jared Cannonier. It was one of those close fights. The reality is we've got to respect what's in the history books, and the history books show a win for Jared Cannonier. It was close. It was one of those fights. It's like I could say that I beat Chael Sonnen. Doesn't matter. It's not registered in the history books. And it was a close fight. Could have gone either way. So you can't say that, right? The reality is, though, they have some kind of unfinished business because it was close. Jared's got a win over him, and he was the backup fighter. So there's a lot to talk about here. A lot to consider. But my pick would be Dricus du Plessis. I think he's earned it. Dylan Lever says, Paul Craig. Well, again, middleweight division, hotting up. I mean, hold on, let me get this. Let me get off that. Sorry, boys and girls, you've been staring at a bloody miniature version of my face for quite some time. But yeah, middleweight division, we've got Paul Craig, just beat Andre Muniz. He's got a big fight with Brendan Allen coming up. But don't count out Brendan Allen. He wants to fight Sean Strickland again as well. Hi, Master Bisping. I thought Sean won every single round. It wasn't even close. Well, he won 4 out of 5 significantly. By a huge margin. I thought round 2 went to Izzy. I thought he put a bit of pressure on there, but that was it. 1 round, and it was close. It was a close round, and maybe I'm giving him a little bit too much credit there. But regardless, we all know Strickland won fair and square. Almost 4,000 people on the stream. Thank you all for being here. Whittaker's a great fight too. Yeah, you got to think that Robert Whittaker is very excited by this new development. And just looking at the poll as well, you guys have 58% Dricus du Plessis. You guys are smart. All 4,000 of you are very, very smart people because that is the case. Dricus du Plessis, he is the number one contender on the rankings, in the records. Through hard work, he has earned that shot. And Dricus versus Sean Strickland, that would be a really fun matchup because Dricus doesn't have that pretty style that Izzy does. The man fights. And Sean, he's more of a boxer with some good jiu-jitsu. So it'd be a really, really fun fight. It really would. Anyway, let's go back to some of these questions that you guys are asking and posing. Hold on, we've got another super chat here. I'm so happy for Sean. Hold on, I can't see shit because of my contact lens. Hold on, guys. Hold on. I should have got my glasses on before I did this. Contact keeps moving. He's the American Bisping. Oh, I think we did that one. Yeah, he is. If I was a redneck. Hey, no, Sean's awesome, man. God bless him. He's hilarious. He's got a great message. It just shows, you work hard, you can turn your life around. Sean didn't have anything easy. Nothing was gifted to him, Sounds like he was dragged up, not brought up, so Fair play to him. Fair play. You know, you got to be happy for that man. A man that went out there, not to mention the motorcycle accident which almost ended his career, you know, and he got knocked out at welterweight. You know, he wasn't like he was always this version of himself. He's reinvented himself. He's worked his goddamn ass off. He's surrounded himself with some tremendous coaches and people. And look at what he's achieved. So you can't help but be happy for that man. The question is, how mad is he going to be in general? What do we think? So we know, and put this poll up. Do we think Sean's going to be a controversial champion? Do you think he's going to be a madman? Do you think he's going to cause trouble? I think it's going to be hilarious, and I think he's going to be wildly popular. AC coming back to life. Strickland embraced his inner Bisping. Legend. Best wishes, Mike from Scotland. Thank you, AC, coming back to life. Appreciate you, brother. Alex should have gotten a rematch. The South African should have gotten this last fight. It looks like Dana is protecting Izzy. I'm glad Izzy lost. You know, there seems to be a big shift of momentum in terms of the support for Izzy, which I don't understand all the hate. Now, I know there was all the dog stuff, but come on, right? We're all adults here, right? I think, and we're all mature enough to realize that Izzy isn't out there molesting dogs, okay, right? He fiddled with the dog's penis for a minute, and it was a little bit of a stupid, immature, childish thing to do, you know, which was regrettable. But I don't think he's out there bloody doing all that stuff. But he seems to have, you know, turned a lot of people off recently. So what do we think? And put a poll up on about something to do with the popularity. Is Sean, oh, here we go. Is Sean going to be a controversial champion? Noah, calm down. Lol, of course he will be. So for 100%. Of course he will be. Of course he will be. Is he being racist against DDP? Yeah, okay. All right, I understand that. Wasn't helping himself there. The dry humping against Costa. Bisping, what he did was disgusting. Yeah, all right. Blah, 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 I'm British, half blind, and I blah, blah, blah. Well, DJ Petmo, why don't you just go fuck yourself and get off the stream? If you just want to talk shit, then off your pop, lad. Simple as that. His bird fed his dog. We'll go through some of these controversial topics. And I'm going to end that poll, mate. Put up, as people's opinions changed on Israel Adesanya, you know, put up a few options if you can, and I'm just trying to get a gauge. Because he was cheered, but so was Sean. And you can't help but cheer for the underdog. When somebody like that, that's had a tough life, that was probably never destined to be in this situation, that people didn't earmark years ago as becoming a potential champion, it's truly inspirational. You know, it really is. And you've got to celebrate that man. So of course, a lot of people cheered him. But are people now booing Izzy? That's the question, and that's a real question. We've got a super chat here. Oh, God. Jesus Christ. Mike, is the blueprint on Izzy out? Also, must disagree with Dana. Can't be pissed at Jared Gordon for trying to fight with an injury and Drix du Plessis for pulling out. The blueprint on Izzy. Well, the blueprint's always been there. The blueprint, which is what Sean did, pressure. Like I did against Anderson Silva. I always said I could beat Anderson Silva, and there's definite parallels between Anderson Silva and Israel Adesanya. And if I was to fight Izzy, I would have done it the same way I fought Anderson. In his face, boxing, taking the reach, the range, and not giving him any respect. That's exactly what I did to Anderson Silva. Granted, at the end of it, I looked like I'd been in a car crash, and Sean didn't have a scratch on his face. So there's a little bit of difference there. But Anderson was also the greatest middleweight ever. Izzy grew my dog, says Barry. Oh, come on, Bazza. Next matchup for Whittaker, Dolidze or Costa. Well, so Whittaker isn't going to get the title fight, of course. Just got knocked out of Drix du Plessis. When we look at the rankings, I'll do this one more time so you guys see, so you have a bit of context. I mean, who is that? I mean, he beat Marvin Vettori. They're talking about Robert Whittaker again here. Yeah, I mean, he's beaten Derek Brunson. Did Whittaker ever fight Paulo Costa? Maybe Whittaker, there it is. Whittaker fights the loser of Paulo Costa and Khamzat Chimaev, which I'll just throw it out there now. I reckon will be Paulo Costa. I think Khamzat's a force of nature, man. He really is. He really is. Let's have a look at the poll results here. And thanks for all 4,100 for being here. Has your view of Israel Adesanya changed recently? 46% of people say yes because of his persona. 8% of people say yes because of the result. I don't like that. I don't like how you change your view of someone just because they lose a fight. And then 21%, pardon me, said no, still a fan. So 45% of people it is now say yes because of his persona. I like Izzy. My interactions with him have always been very, very solid. They've always been pleasurable. I've always found him to be not arrogant at all. But I guess when you carry yourself with an air of arrogance, it can piss off the everyman, the layperson, the casual fan, the people that are working their asses off. And I think Sean actually embodied this sentiment perfectly last week. He said, he said, Israel Adesanya is the embodiment of the superstar, the LeBron James, the Conor McGregor, and all these type of people, because he drives the flash car and he has the jewelry and all the rest of it. And he's right. And Sean Strickland rocks up in a white t-shirt and a pair of jeans and just works his fucking ass off. And I do believe that people can get behind that because they can resonate with that and they can see themselves in them, you know. But of course, you know, that's not the be all and end all. Sometimes we're a fan of just the brilliance of the fighter. Anyway, we've got a super chat here. G Jesus 051. Some people compare this loss to Silva's loss against Weidman. But at least Weidman stylistically and on paper looked dangerous. Sean was treated as a meme and overlooked everywhere, even on paper. I don't think, and thank you very much, G Jesus, I don't think you can compare this win, Strickland's win over Adesanya, I don't think you can compare that to Weidman's win over Silva. Izzy tried in this fight. He was just outgunned. He was out-hustled. He was outmatched. He was beaten fair and square. Anderson Silva in the first fight against Chris Weidman acted like a fool. He truly was drinking his Kool-Aid, to use an American expression. He truly was thinking he was untouchable. He truly was a victim of his own success because he just messed around. And Weidman caught him with a shot and he's like pretending to be knocked out and shit. And then he got flatlined. You know? So you can't compare the two there. No way. And then in the second fight, he snapped his leg. Do you know what I mean? So again, you can't. This fight here, Sean Strickland walked him down the entire time and beat him at his own game. Simple as that. He did. Bert says, have we guys talked about Sean's amazing coach yet? We did before. He pushed optics, pressure, not watching a snake charmer. Amazing coach. It was an amazing coach. And that wasn't the only amazing part. The energy and the motivation that he provided to Sean, the entirety of the fight was fantastic. I said earlier, in case you missed it, and on the other side of the octagon, in the corner of Israel Adesanya, they were flat. They were monotone. There was no passion. And I didn't like the way that Izzy, when he was rocked, was just like, you know, just like not bothered, not concerned. I don't want to say it because it's like I'm shitting on Izzy. I'm a fan. But it was like he was too cool for school. There's nothing wrong sometimes in realizing that shit's not going well. There's nothing wrong sometimes with having a look of panic on your face and being thinking, fuck, this isn't going to plan. Shit, I've done all this work and I'm losing. And I'm this close from losing my belt. I think people like that. I think people like to see someone go, fuck, right, I got to go to work. And the coach is saying, what the fuck are you doing? You got to go to work. You're going to lose your belt. Do you want to tarnish your legacy? Lose everything you worked for? Do you want to become a meme? Do you want everyone to turn against you? Do you want your opponent to prove everyone correct? Right? But there was none of that. There was none of that. And I didn't understand it. Super chat's coming in thick and fast. Victor Chavez says, hey, Bisping, thoughts on Strickland DDP matchup? I think it would be an incredible fight. I really do. I'm a massive fan of Dricus du Plessis. I've got an interview with him this week, by the way, on the channel, so keep an eye out for that one. Also, your pick for Khamzat versus Costa, early leaning towards Khamzat. Thoughts about the MMA guru having a direct impact. Don't follow that guy. Devon Singh says Dana wants an Izzy rematch, which is unwarranted and shows favoritism and made excuses for Izzy at the post-fight press conference. Thoughts, honestly? Well, thoughts, honestly, and you're going to go company, man. I thought Izzy looked slow. I thought Izzy looked uninterested, you know. Was that the trash talk? Was it the overworking? Was it the schedule? You could say a ton of things. We can all agree That was not the best performance from Israel Adesanya. It was not. Simple as that. We have seen him look faster. We've seen him look sharper. We've seen him be more entertaining, But was that the style and the pressure of Sean Strickland? The answer is probably yes. But you can't say that wasn't the best version of Izzy. You know what I mean? But again, that might have been because of Sean. So whichever way you slice it, though, it wasn't the best one. So, more super chats coming in. This is just my opinion. This is from Track Phone Virtual Magazine. This is just my opinion. And shout out to all 5,000 of you on here. The problem with Izzy is that he's been the champion for so long. I was talking about this earlier and I was going to go to this next. The same thing happened with George St. Pierre, Floyd Mayweather, Errol Spence. After a while, people like the guy. After a while, people don't like the guy on top. And that's a real good point. And put a poll up on that, buddy. Because I don't think it's necessarily true that people don't like the guy on top. But there is a format and a pattern in society where people root for the guy on the way up, but then when they get to the top, when they're sitting on the throne, they don't quite get the same support. And maybe that's because they bite themselves in their own ass. Maybe because they shoot themselves in the foot. Maybe they act too cocky. They get too big for their own boots and people turn off. Or maybe it's just people like the underdog and they root for them, but once they get there, they don't want to root for them anymore. But the reality is that when you're the champion, when you're a long-time champion, now I don't know the facts and figures on this, and I'm just going purely off rumours, but Israel Adesanya, from what is rumoured online, is in the good, millions of dollars range per fight. I think it came out recently, a while ago, he was the second highest paid on the roster after Israel Adesanya. I don't know about John Jones being back now. The reality is he's a very, very extremely wealthy man. He's world famous. He's got legions of fans. He's got endorsements galore, right? And I'm going somewhere with this, so stay with me. That brings with it a lot of pressure because you don't want to lose it. And we've seen it with tons of other champs as well. George St. Pierre. I love George. I'm not talking shit. He had a very conservative style towards the end of his run because, again, the pressure. Heavy is the burden of the crown or some shit. What is it? Let me know in the chats. Heavy is the burden of the crown. It's not that. You want Rebecca? Jesus Christ. Heavy is the what? Let me know. Anyway, whatever, who cares? Moving on. But what happens is they start a conservative style because the pressure gets to them. I think you could say the same for Valentina Shevchenko. Recently, she lost the belt. She's fighting next weekend against Alexa Grasso. We saw it with George St. Pierre. We saw it with Israel Adesanya to a certain degree. It's not a nice excuse. Not a nice excuse. Don't give your dog to Izzy. No one's taking my dog. Reminder that Izzy follows dog fetish pages. Anyway, Proper says, too often in MMA, we focus on the loser of a fight when they're a star, which just takes away from what the winner was able to do. Correct. And we're going to talk about Sean in a minute. Izzy looked impressive because unimpressive because Strickland shut him down with his game plan. I know, buddy. Proper. If you were here the whole time, that's what I've been saying. Sean walked him down. He had the perfect game plan. Izzy didn't respect the threat. Izzy didn't respect the fact that he had to have a sense of urgency. Sean walked him down. His reactions were too good. He didn't bite too much on the feints. He blocked all the leg kicks. And he by far landed the more shots. I mean, Sean Strickland beat it out of him, took that belt off him fair and square. There is a little part of me that would be interested in a rematch to see what Izzy would do differently. I know Sean would do the exact same thing because that's what he does in all his fights. We got another one here. Someone says, my bloody writing's too small. I got to make the screen bigger. Hold on, I'm just going to pull this out so the writing gets bigger and I can read. It says, so happy for Sean. Oh, yeah, no, I did that one already. So, Sean Strickland, what a guy. I mean, it's unbelievable. This year alone, since 2023, I think that's the 8th. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. Thank you, Mr. Schwab. Good old Brendan Sharp in the chat. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. Correct, yeah, Prove you're not soy about it and get Strickland on the show. I've had him on the show. I will ask him to be on the show. What do you mean soy about it? Why would I be soy about it? I'm happy for the man. That man went out there and did it the old-fashioned way. He fucking fought tooth and nail, worked his way up, beat everyone along the way. All right, lost to Pereira, had a quick one with Jared Cannonier, beat 2 people, 2 main events, turned around, walked him down, beat fucking Israel Adesanya. There ain't no being soy. You got to celebrate that man. What he did was unbelievable. And no one saw it coming. That's what makes it even more impressive. 2 years ago, I don't think people were talking about Sean Strickland being the champ. If you'd have brought that up 2-3 years ago, people would have laughed at you. And again, that makes it even more impressive. We've got a chat here. Kai O'Sullivan says, I got to stop fucking around with contact lenses. I got to get new lenses. Kai O'Sullivan says, enough of Izzy. Fair enough. Do you think Sean will have a long reign as champ? His style is mental and could cause issues to any challenges. See, now I am going to sound like a hater. I don't know. I think he's a very good fighter. Do I think that when you consider all the different styles, would he be able to clean out a division like Israel? I don't think so. It all depends. I mean, Dricus du Plessis may be the next fight. It might be Israel Adesanya. But if we just assume it's Dricus du Plessis is a motherfucker of a man. And what's his record now? Like 18-2, something like that. Undefeated in the UFC, 6 fights, 5 stoppages, against really good competition. Essentially knocked out Robert Whittaker with a jab. Do you know what I mean? So, hold on, we got a poll here. Were you rooting for Sean, rooting against Izzy, rooting for a change in champ? 82% rooting for Sean. Massive, massive support. And he deserves it. And again, it goes back to what I said. The everyman. They can look at Sean Strickland and see a bit of themselves in them. When you get too... It's interesting because Conor McGregor's not an everyman, but he still has a tremendous amount of support. He's going around the world on Lamborghini yachts. But people, a bunch of simps, they all still kiss his ass and call him king and shit on Twitter. What kind of fucking grown man refers to another man as king? Unless you're talking about me. That's okay. All right, let's go to some of these chats. Let's Sean end the Hamzat hype, please. Well, Hamzat's a tough fight for anybody, buddy. Sean Fermi says, love you, Mike. Strickland reminds me of an American version of you. A lot of people have been saying that. John Smith says, Izzy's problem is that he always promises to have Silver-style finishes, but he has a lot of GSP-style decisions. You're right. Also, the painted fingernails, cheesy Elsa lines, and the dog shit from the past give his critics too much ammo. I'll agree with you there, buddy. I'll agree with you that I'm not a fan of the fingernails. How does he fight with those fingernails? They must remove them. They must. They would scratch the shit out of you. Track phone virtual magazines back. People don't want to see you succeed when you're no longer the underdog. At one point, McGregor used to be the underdog. Now people can't stand him. You can't be the underdog when you're on top. Yeah, you're right. Not a hater. Genuinely curious. And I will respect your reason. Why did you never... Oh, shut up. Because what do you think, Devon? It's my bloody boss. It's none of my business, you fool. Let's go along here, see some others. Enough of visit. Yeah, we did that. So, real quick, let's talk about Tai Tuivasa. Anyone interested in Tai Tuivasa versus Alexander Volkov? And by the way, great night of fights. Great night of fights in Sydney. UFC, excuse me, 293 delivered in many ways. Tai Tuivasa in the co-main event. It was a tough one if you're a Tai Tuivasa fight. He just didn't have what he needed to beat Volkov. He went out there throwing those heavy low kicks. Hold on, what's that? Will the UFC hate such an opinionated champ? Sketchy asks, will the UFC hate such an opinionated champ? I don't think so. You say, I bet they hate it, lol. I don't think so. The UFC don't tell you what to say. They don't tell the fighters what to say and how to behave. They really don't. You know what I mean? If he wants to be opinionated, he'll be opinionated. And let's be honest, UFC is a business. At the end of the day, if people are cheering for him, supporting him and getting behind him, which they clearly are, and he's a popular champion, then hey, so be it. Who gives a fuck? And then there's no snowflake. Just because he might say some controversial things, who gives a fuck? Do you know what I mean? NKS432 says, Mike Hamzat wants to fight with Sean. He needs to stop chirping and fight already. Correct. Also, he may be tough, but those boys at middleweight are big and not easy. You're right. The thing that affects Khamzat is that he hasn't had the strength of schedule which he needs and requires. You know, he's fighting soon in Abu Dhabi. It's been a long time since he fought in the States. When will he fight again? We don't know. Generally, they go to Abu Dhabi once a year. You know, so, yeah, it's the lack of schedule that's hurting Khamzat. He wants to fight with Sean. I think he'd give Sean a good fight. There's a lot of people that would give Sean a good fight. There really is. You know, and that's what's so impressive about what Sean did last night. You know, we can't all stand around and say Sean's the pound-for-pound number one. What Sean did was go out there and beat Israel Adesanya in an amazing fashion. And he's always in every single fight, and that's why you respect him. You know what I mean? Because he's a tough son of a bitch. Philip Farag says, hey, Mike, how hard is it to commentate Anthony Smith's fights? I guess it must be tough since you have to keep your cool and stay professional and try to be unbiased. But you're doing a great job, in my opinion. Thank you, Philip. Well, you got to keep it professional. You got to keep it professional and leave your emotions, you know, in the hotel room. To be honest, I didn't find it too hard, to be honest. I didn't find it. I think, if anything, I overcompensated the other way and gave Span too much credit because I was aware that people would be looking to talk shit. So, thank you very much for the question now. All right, let's go down to some of these chats down here. I think Duplessis beats Izzy as well. I think he would have done. He would have beaten that version last night. Does Sean Strickland become the next O'Malley, McGregor, Poirier with his win over Izzy? I don't think so. I think he is going to have a large fan base. I think if he continues to win, one win alone isn't enough. If he continues to win and he continues to be himself, you know, because Strickland, it's not an act with Strickland. He's not acting like the way he is. That's who he is. I trained with Strickland for a long time. I know what he's like. That's what he's like. He's always got something to say. He's always controversial. You know what I mean? He speaks his mind. He speaks his mind. And listen, you got to respect that. You have to respect that. And I do. But I don't know about being like a Conor McGregor. But if he continues to win, he will. If he can go on a dominant run, if he can take out, let's just say Izzy is the next fight, if he can defeat Izzy again, if he can beat Dricus Duplessis, and then he can beat a Robert Whittaker, well, then we are talking about a superstar for sure. I mean, the man is a superstar now. Being the middleweight champion of the world makes you a superstar. It's as simple as that. So he's already a superstar, but can he really become one of the big draws? If he can win the next 2 or 3 without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt. Alex F says that I was the feint GOAT, in my opinion. Why was Adesanya not effective with his feints against Strickland? Because he wasn't threatening. He wasn't threatening with the feints. He was backing up the whole time. He was avoiding conflict and damage. Do you know what I mean? He was backing up the whole time. So when somebody hits you hard, oof, and it gets a reaction, you're like, shit. And then they start fainting and all this. You're like, oh, fuck. He's going to get me again. But there was never any of that. There was never any danger. There was never any threat. Strickland didn't get hit flush once. So the feints weren't effective. And he wasn't throwing as many feints. And Izzy, I thought, was too busy trying to look cool than trying to win the fight. What do you think? Do you think that's a fair comment? Do you think that's a fair comment? Was Izzy too focused on trying to look cool than to win the fight? Maybe. I don't know. Is that maybe a bit too damning? Anyway, let's answer some of your questions. Who do I want to see Paul Felder fight? Jim Miller, UFC 300. Somebody said there in the chat. That's perfect. Paul Felder's coming back. Good for him. I wish him nothing but the best. Paul Felder's a solid guy, man. Really, really nice, solid guy. I'm going to get him on the podcast maybe this week. Just a proper working class, solid dude. Smart guy. Works hard. It's a shame because he was loving the triathlon stuff, but his hip is not in a good way. Apparently the doctor said he's got the hips of an 80-year-old man. So it looks like he's coming back to mixed martial arts, the mental patient. Ants put a poll up. What was the biggest upset? George St. Pierre losing to Matt Serra, Was it Holly Holm over Ronda Rousey, or was it Sean Strickland over Israel Adesanya? And you guys have it. 45% of you think that that was the biggest upset. Do you think that was the biggest upset in UFC history? I mean, that's saying a lot. Maybe it was. Maybe it was. Did we see the biggest upset in UFC history? Wow. That's crazy if so. Crazy if so. The reality is, you know, Sean did it. He's the man. Should Izzy have stayed for the press? Yeah, I think he should. I think he's just going to give even more. Paul Felder versus Sergey Pavlovich next. Go on, Rabbi Rubenstein. I think it's just going to give more fuel to the haters. You know what I mean? People that maybe think he has an air of arrogance, it's going to add to that. You know what I mean? They're going to say, well, he couldn't stick around and address the media. You know, he wants to stand there and say it when he's the champ, when he wins. You've also got to do it when you lose. You know, but who knows? Who knows what he's going through? You know, you got to take that into consideration. It's massively disappointing, but it will only fuel the haters. That's a fact. Which fight in UFC history would you like to have been able to commentate? Perhaps something before you began your commentating job. Well, Chuck Liddell versus Wanderlei Silva, that was an incredible fight. So we'll just go with that one because that was when I was fighting coming up. I remember we might give them a lot of crap, but respect to the judges for all scoring it 49-46. Absolutely the big G. You're absolutely correct there. We love to shit on the judges when they do a bad job. And we should, because it's an important job. And when they get it wrong, and when it's wildly wrong, and wildly conflicting, it's really, really frustrating. But they got it right last night. All three of them on the same page, 49-46. As soon as I heard that, I think everyone watching, as soon as they heard 49-46, knew Strickland got it. So well done to the judges. You know, that's why we got to, you know, we do have to give credit where credit's due. And that's why when you see that fight recently at the Contender Series, or there was a stoppage recently as well, that was really, really bad, you know. And that referee, I forget the name, made a terrible decision. And in Paris, there was a terrible decision when he called off a fight because someone said they'd been kicked in the groin. You know, you either say fight on, you don't call the fucking fight off. You know, you got to remember that Mark Goddard, Herb Dean, Big Dan Mergliata, these guys are the gold standard, you know, so, but people make mistakes. People make mistakes. Sean has had just as busy of a fight schedule, if not busier than Izzy. Sean made Izzy look bad, no excuses. No greatest adventurer. I'm not taking away from Sean's win. I've said that a million times. The pressure or the schedule that Sean had was nothing like Izzy's. You can't compare the two. Sure, he's been busy. You know, when you're flying all over the world, when you're the world champion, when you're having the countdown, when you're the champion, there's people pulling at you left, right, and center. Promoting a pay-per-view main event is different from the fights that Sean had. That's not a disrespect. It's the facts of the matter. Take it from somebody that's been there, that knows, right? There's a big, big difference in terms of the demands, the media, the interviews, the pressure, people pulling you from all over the fucking place. It is different. It is different, my friend. But I understand what you're saying. Schedule-wise, maybe it is comparable. Kenny says, Marvin said Sean once told him he had a dream they fought for the belt together. Sean got teary. I said it was one of the greatest moments. How serendipitous if it happens. The CA boys. Hey, you never know. Marvin Vettori, Sean Strickland. I mean, on paper, that would be a tremendous fight. What is Vettori ranked these days? There he is. Marvin Vettori. Number 4. Vettori's still at number 4. You know, you never know. You never know. That could come true. That would be absolutely fantastic. What are you all doing for dinner? Just to slightly go off topic for a second. I'm cooking dinner here tonight. Rebecca's not feeling well. I felt like shit all week, but she's still significantly less better than me. So I'm gonna cook. What are you all having for dinner tonight? Because I'm starving. Let me know in the conversation. But still, who's that talking shit? Shut up, Cyclone. All right, well, just don't fucking watch. A. Burns says, what's up, Bisping? Love you, man. Huge fan. Wondering if you know about if there was any truth on something wrong with Hamzat's visa earlier this year. I do not. I don't speak with Hamzat. I don't know anything about that, brother. So, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm just excited to see him back in the octagon against, I was just talking about it, Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa with the juice. Vittori took a lifetime beating from Cannonier, and Strickland was right when he said he rides the short bus with Dewey Cooper. Oh dear. Sean is funny, man. He has some great one-liners. He talks steak and chips, fish and chips homemade, chicken black bean sauce with rice. Ooh. Hope Rebecca feels better soon. Thank you, sir. Chicken and rice. I'm thinking burgers. Ooh, tacos, pizza. See, I'm going to cook, though. Normally I cook steak, but we've had steak a couple of times this week. They don't even like MMA Covington and Strickland at the same press conference would be empty. Could you imagine Colby Covington and Sean Strickland at the same press conference? Oh my God, that'd be the most watched. What's Mike going to cook? Full English fish and chips, DoorDash. No, I'm cooking. I'm going to do something with chimichurri sauce. Oh, spaghetti. Maybe a homemade spag bowl. I might do a spag bowl. But I'm on a big chimichurri sauce vibe at the minute. So I might do chicken thighs, in a marinade, chimichurri sauce with some barbecued sweet corn on the cob. Oh, my mouth's fucking... My mouth is watering. Steak is great. Anyway, enough of that, guys. 39% of you think I'm getting DoorDash. I'm cooking. I have a Sunday roast, I know, but it's a whole thing. They don't really have butchers in this part of America where I live. They don't have butchers. You know what I mean? The butchers, there's no butchers by here. You got to get a big piece of meat. Got to do roast potatoes and Yorkshire puddings and everything. That's a whole thing. I'm not doing that. I am not doing that. I'm going to cook a bit of dinner. I'm not doing a full-on roast. That is, make crab cakes. Oh, that sounds nice. Get Rebecca on the show. I got my lotion. Suarez Jr. Come on. Is Rebecca's favourite fighter still Izzy Pissy Pants? I don't know. We'll have to ask her. We'll have to ask her. Has to be a full English, you muppet. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Tell Spaghetti that Bisping loves him. Thank you. What's with the insults? Tortellini, 3 cheese. Oh, Lucas makes his own pasta. He's got a pasta machine. Anyway, let's get back to the fights. Enough of that crap. We're going to wrap it up in about another 20 minutes or so. So, the night belongs to Sean Strickland. 9 or 8 new champs this year, of course. Pereira was one. Izzy was another one. Sean Strickland is one. Sean O'Malley. Alexa Grasso. Alejandra Pantoja. Who are the other two? Amanda Nunes. Did she get the belt back this year? Islam, no. Leon, no. Jamal Hill. Then we had, Jamal Hill and then Yuri Prohaska, but Jamal Hill. I cook for Rebecca every night. Good chef. Turkey Twizzlers, beans and chips. Let's go. Anyway, Pena. No, that was last year, weren't it? I think when she beat Amanda Nunes. New cooking show with Bisping coming soon. I'm doing it, guys. I'm doing it. What happened, Joe? Nothing happened. So I'll tell you what we'll do now. I'll do a few of your questions and a few of your comments, and then I'll leave you to your day. The Big G, you've been talking to Till, mate. You think he'll ever come back to the UFC? Seems like he's looking to do a one-off boxing fight. Yeah, it does look like he's targeting that. I haven't spoken to him much lately, to be honest. I wish him all the best. I will reach out soon, though. I've been so busy. I've been flying all over the goddamn place. Oh, yeah, John Jones, of course. John Jones and Jamal Hill, thank you. Fur burgers smothered in underwear. That's a peculiar dinner you're eating there, brother. Do I think I can change the world, Bisping? I can change the immediate world around me. Yeah. Cooking show with Rebecca. I know. How many curls should I do in a set? Depends what you're looking for, brother. If you're trying to get strong, you want to keep it in the 6 to 8 range. If you're looking for hypertrophy, get the pump, 10 to 12. I like to go for 12 because I don't like to go too heavy these days because obviously I'm getting older. I don't want to injure myself. My body's already been injured enough. So I go heavy enough to where, I do build strength and I break down the muscle fiber, but I also want to get hypertrophy. I also want to burn calories. So I want to do 12 reps, heavy enough that you get a bit of strength training, but also you get the pump, you get the burn, you get the sweat, you know. Strength training bores me to death, you know, doing 4 or 6 sets and then you wait 4 minutes for the glycogen to refill. It's not really how I like to lift weights. All right, hey Bisping, my man, what are your thoughts on the Swedish MMA guy who was the one who got us here, like a Bisping in a way? Can Hamzat reach the same status? Love your content and your commentary. Keep it up. Thank you, Tobias Westing. Who's the Swedish MMA guy? Oh, Gus Gustafsson. Alexander Gustafsson, legend, man, legend. Do I think Tom Aspinall will be the champ by the end of next year? I think he will, and I can't wait. I do think that. And that's not because I'm biased. It's not because I have a friendship with Tom. I'm friendly with a lot of fighters on the UFC roster. I think there's a potential that John Jones and Stipe Miocic both retire on the same night, which opens the door for a new champion. Now, I don't know. Jones has mentioned that. He has floated that idea. If Jones beats Stipe, I think there's a very good possibility that Stipe retires. I think if Stipe wins, if Stipe beats Jones or Stipe loses to Jones, I think there's a good possibility that he retires. He's no spring chicken. And John Jones has done it all, you know. So that would open the door for the next best heavyweight. Of course, we've got Sergey Pavlovich and Tom Aspinall. I'd like to see them two fight. I think the next chance probably going to be whoever would win in a fight between Tom Aspinall and Sergey Pavlovich. On the feet, I'd favour Sergey, but Tom Aspinall is very good on the feet. He's very fast, but also he's well-rounded. He's so well-rounded. Good question, though. Mike, do you plan on living in America for the rest of your life, or do you have plans to come back to the UK? I've been coming back to the UK a lot more. Obviously, my parents aren't getting any younger, so we're going to be spending Christmas in Clitheroe. And yeah, we do. But we'll probably, in a perfect world, we'll have a residence there and a residence here and flip back and forth because the kids are always going to be here now. Their lives are here, you know. So it's like kind of boxed in here for that reason. Michael Bisping, can a full force kick to the front of the neck be serious? Chin to Adam's apple. Yeah, of course it can. If you kick someone in the neck hard as fuck, that's going to hurt like a proper bitch. Hamzat wasted his prime. He might still be in his prime. How do I see Makhachev versus Oliveira 2 going? Probably the same. That's Islam Makhachev. Probably not him. But probably the same outcome, although I think Oliveira has a better go. I think he does a bit better this time. What's next for Beneil Dariush? I'm not sure, brother. I'm not sure. My little lad was training with Alan Clarkin. Love you, Mike. Oh, well, Alan Clarkin is a tremendous coach. Black Knights in Burnley, Lancashire. Can't go wrong training there, my friend. So well done to him, to your little lad. Tell him to send my best to Alan Clarkin and all the Black Knights. I believe Sean wins Sean. A superior wrestler will adapt and outperform him. Confidence and home advantage, especially in Vegas, will be crucial. Izzy's best bet is a knockout. Izzy looked scared as the fight progressed. Yeah, I wouldn't say scared, but he was like unmotivated, and he was just out hustled. He couldn't figure out Strickland. All right, the hockey player gamer says, what do we think about the Conor versus Chandler fight? Yeah. Kind of been forgotten about, not spoken about recently. Does Conor still have what it takes? Is he taking this seriously or not? I don't know if he's taking it seriously or not. Does he still have what it takes? That's the real question. You know, generally we only have one prime. You know, when it comes to fighting ability, we hit our prime, you can hold it for a while, and then there comes a decline. That's generally what happens. We could argue that Conor's peak was 2016, and he's kind of been on the decline. Now, if he takes it seriously, you know, in a few months, he can drastically change his ability, his fitness, his style, his cardio, everything. So we don't know. You know, success is a real bitch. It's a real problem for professional fighters. Maybe that's what happened to Israel as well. It certainly seems to appear to have happened to Conor McGregor. But he could come back and beat Michael Chandler for sure he could. Of course he could. I don't know when that fight's going to happen now, but thank you for the question. The hockey player gamer. Lol. Tony has his prime still coming. Tony Ferguson, let's go. Connor needs to get sober. What did he say? I've been on the gargle every night. Do you think the Wolf is the next big thing? Well, his lack of regularity in terms of his fights is something that's holding him back. So how do we respond to the MMA Guru's video about it? I haven't even watched it, bro. I don't waste my time. He's just a hater, isn't he? And people love to focus on hate because it's good. It's easy to hate on people. It's easy to look at someone in the spotlight and just talk shit. Do you know what I mean? I prefer to give fair analysis and give someone credit where credit's due. And if someone's not doing well, then give them shit. People like to hate on anyone that's successful, majority of people, because, you know, they're not them. They're not having that success, or they want to strip them down. And that's all the Guru does. Member for 15 months, Jack Clout is amazing. Strickland versus Paul Craig. Who wins? Paul Craig. Strickland's the champ right now. Although him being the champ's going to inspire you, Paul Craigs, your Dricus du Plessis. All of these people, you know. Heard Strickland was going to channel his inner Bisping before the fight, and he did just that. Thank you, who said that. Hand over fist one. All right. Why do I call him a hater if you don't watch? Because I've just seen a few of his videos where just like the video topics where he talks shit about Mark Goddard. Every video is just him talking shit on people. That's why, mate. Don't ask me about him again. Alcohol did a number on Connor. Yeah, alcohol's a bitch. It's fun. Mike, is Sakuraba the original BMF? Quite possibly. Kazushi Sakuraba. I mean, what a guy that was. Moved up several weight classes, took on all comers, the Gracie Hunter. Might have been, I don't know about the original. He's definitely the Japanese BMF. That is for sure. Bacon, sausage, egg, beans and black pudding, fried bread, mushrooms, tomato, OJ, cup of tea to smash it down. That is a classic English breakfast for you right there. Do I know or have I heard of Reza Chagini? He's a close family friend of mine who's been in the London MMA circuit for a while. No, don't know him, mate. Can't say I have. Cannot say I have. Comeback gig for DJ Mikey B in Manchester. Yeah? You want to book DJ Mikey B? Let's go. I am available. I might be DJing over the Christmas period around the Manchester area. Do you hear about the fight of Nicholas Dolby? It comes from Denmark, where I'm from. I do know Nicholas Dolby. I was talking to Nicholas Dolby in Paris, actually, last week when I was there. We were having a very, very good long talk. Very, very nice guy. Master Bisping, Sean took that strap. He did. I hope you make a lot more movies. Thank you, sir. I actually got 3 films coming out. I still don't consider myself an actor, but I do have Den of Thieves 2, Red Sonja, and then another one coming out. And I got a couple. I might have my first lead in the pipeline, but we'll see about that. Anyway, do you put tomato sauce or brown sauce on your full English? I use Chipotle sauce now. I used to be ketchup, but now it's too sweet for me. Last one from me, Mike. Appreciate the answers. Do you think Mohammed Makaev will be champion one day? Well, it's just tough, isn't it? I mean, he's certainly got all the potential and he got off to a great start. But when you look at people like Moreno and Pantoja, they're unbelievable. And Chubby Boy, you are right. Shout out, Clitheroe, indeed. Why do you think Izzy ducked the post-fight interview and presser? Seems like a cop-out. I expected more from such a great champ. Oh, yeah. See, the thing is, and you all think, you know, because some people think I'm like some dick rider for Izzy. I'm not. I appreciate a great performance when I see one. And I'll call it how it is. But I can't just go out there and start talking mad shit about people. You got to remember, I commentate these people's fights. You know what I mean? Sometimes, obviously, I don't do pay-per-views generally, so I've never called an Izzy fight, but you know what I'm saying. And I have to bump into them. So I've got to speak with a level head. You guys are anonymous online, so you can speak all the shit you want and be as insulting or as abusive as you want. You know, I will see these people. You know, I work for the UFC as well, so, you know. But the reality is, to answer the question regarding the post-fight press conference, I would have preferred to see him because, again, it opens the door for more negativity to be aimed his way. It will... The reality is he's just lost his championship belt for the second time in 3 fights. And he just lost his belt to a guy that he probably never thought would ever beat him. And he just lost his belt to a guy that had done a pretty good smear campaign with this whole dog stuff. You know what I'm saying? So his mind, God knows where his mind was. The reality is, in hindsight, I think he should have stuck around. You know, Dominic Cruz, for example, when he lost to Cody Garbrandt, got so much props and so much respect for the way that he stood there and held court and took questions from the media. When Conor McGregor lost to Nate Diaz and I think to Dustin Poirier the first time, again, he got a lot of applause and respect for doing that. When I've done that, people have always admired that and respected that. And that's what you have to do, you know? Generally, you have to be man enough to face the music, you know? And he didn't do that. And okay, some people will criticize that. But who knows, maybe he comes out and talks about it. Maybe he does some interviews, you know. So as I say, I understand the criticism, but we don't know how upset he was. You know what I mean? Yeah. I would have done, but still, I'm not Israel Adesanya. So, what your wife think of that fight, being that she likes Izzy and Sean is a good-looking fellow? Jesus Christ, now Sean Strickland's my wife's favourite fighter. Jesus Christ. Reed K, got to answer this one, says, I'm sure somebody has already asked this, but I feel like Sean's fight had similarities to your fight with Silva. You're right, a lot of people have brought this up already, mate. Not to take away from Sean's incredible victory, but do you think Izzy chokes or Sean just did great, or both? A bit of both. Sean was fantastic. Izzy wasn't good. Izzy wasn't good. He backed up. He was the victim of his own success. I'm repeating myself now for people that have been on here for a while, but the man put a super chat in, so I've got to answer. Yeah, Izzy had a terrible showing. Can't say it was a good one. Strickland had a brilliant showing. Izzy probably had a shit night because of the brilliance of Sean Strickland. Let's have it right. Kwari Osama says, the real BMF is someone who fights with one eye. Fucking right. Never cheated. I managed to fool the doctors and the staff regarding the eye. You're right. And won a freaking championship with one eye. You're right. You are the BMF. Love you from Morocco. Well, my brother, I am so sorry to hear about the sadness, about the terrible earthquake that happened in Morocco. It's awful. If you guys haven't seen the news, I'm assuming you have. Over 2,000 people confirmed dead already. It's just awful. So my thoughts are with you, my brother, and wish you and all your friends, family, and extended people out there. The people of Morocco, I'm sure we all echo that sentiment. Oh, this is a good point. I was going to bring this up. So It's Crazy says, Jalen Turner was my training partner for Anderson Silva and for when I beat Rockhold. And Jalen Turner was Sean Strickland's training partner for when he beat Izzy. I was thinking that this morning when I woke up, because Jalen Turner is the perfect training partner for Rockhold, Silva, and for Israel Adesanya. Jalen Turner is that good on the feet. He's incredible. And he's very good now at grappling as well. You know, he got slightly out-hustled against Mateusz Gamrot. All right, last time I got beat off Dan Hooker as well. But he's a tremendous training partner, so there you go. Yeah, a special mention to Jalen Turner. There we go. We've been going for 1 hour, 17 minutes. If anyone's got any last questions, get them in soon, because I'm going to jump off. I'm going to go see my family. I'm going to go have a life. Love from the UK. Thank you, Ben Frauge. Izzy 4-3 in last 7. Jalen Turner is a beast. Sean got more cheers in Australia than Izzy. I know, surprising, right? Bisping, my thoughts on Tyson Pedro win. Yeah, let's just go through some of the fights real quick. Some of the other fights, because we've got to give a special shout out to some of these people. Boom. Here we have them here. So Strickland, incredible. Alexander Volkov put a beat down on Tai Tuivasa. It really was. I mean, It was a tough matchup for Tai Tuivasa. I did think Tai might get on the inside and swing and catch him, but Volkov looked good. Used the length, used the height, used the reach, used the front kicks, used the bloody uppercuts. My God, he punished Tai Tuivasa. Fight of the night, Manel Kape versus Felipe Dos Santos. Keep an eye on that name. Felipe Dos Santos. My word, incredible win. Really, sorry, not an incredible win. Incredible debut against a world-class opponent. Manel Kape was incredible. The feints, the shot selection. That was a real mixed martial arts fight. Pedro Tafa, Volkov, Sean Strickland. They all won striking matches largely. Manel Kape versus Felipe Dos Santos, that was a real mixed martial arts contest. High-level grappling, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, kicks, punches, knees, elbows, all on display. Manel Kape was sensational. Well done to that man. I like what he brings to the table. His star has risen this week. Justin Tafa knocked out Austin Lane. Not too much to say to that one. Just tremendous. Just tremendous. What a shot it was. 1 minute 22 took him out of their beautiful right hand. And Tyson Pedro, 2 minutes 12. Took a couple of shots of Austin Turkalj at the beginning. But it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And Tyson Pedro gets back to winning ways. Set the crowd on fire, obviously being from Sydney. So, not from 63rd says, people say Izzy looked slow. This was because he dropped. He was dropped bad in that first round, yeah. Simple as that. The man was unconscious. Hey, listen, for sure, man, that certainly plays into the factor. That will affect his confidence. It will affect his speed. It will affect his output. It affects the entirety of the fight. That's because of the work that Sean Strickland did. So good point there. Reed Kerr says, apologies about that last question. I feel as though Sean had a real babyface turn this past week and showed that behind the tough persona, Sean is a good guy. What do you think his commercial pay-per-view viability is as champ? I agree. I think he showed some sides of him that are likable. You know what I mean? He's a wild man. He says crazy stuff. He says funny stuff. He's hilarious. He's abusive. If you're not a little snowflake, then you will find the stuff that he says funny. I do. I think his viability as a commercial pay-per-view champ are very good. Very good. The problem is staying the champion. If he can stay the champ for 2 or 3 fights, he'll be a bloody rock star. I'm telling you. He really will. So he did amazing stuff there. All right, MMA fighters can't box. It's beyond them. Shut up. Just make sure I haven't missed any super chats here. Doesn't appear so, pardon me. Did Sean get pay-per-view points? He won't have done as challenger, no. Just want Paddy to fight. I know Paddy should make a comeback soon enough. Sean is funny. That's correct. Thoughts on Caps and Radke's Octagon interviews? People say shit in the heat of the moment, man. People say shit in the heat of the moment. Bisping, describe your feelings when you entered the ring against Rockhold in the rematch. How nervous is a man in that moment? I actually wasn't nervous. I didn't feel any pressure whatsoever. I'm not trying to sound tough or anything like that. Just telling the reality and the truth of the situation. Got your audio book playing in the background. Thank you, El Gapo. Huapo. Are you concerned for Sean's mental health? He seemed like he's hanging on by a thread. No. This is the thing. Sean's very mentally tough, I believe. Yeah, I do. Yeah. Mike, you have a video. God bless you. Thank you so much. It means a lot. This is again from Kari, our friend in Morocco. I have one question. Strickland, do you want to see him punch the living hell out of Jake Paul in a boxing match after he beats the style bender using only his boxing? I just want to see anybody just beat Jake Paul and just Jake Paul to fuck right off. Let's be honest. He's so full of shit. He's so full of shit. He makes out like he's out here spearheading for the rights of fighters. He's not. He's thinking about himself. He wouldn't even let his own brother fucking promote his energy drink at his boxing event, for crying out loud. What do I think about the organisation Octagon MMA, European organisation? Don't know much about it. Never watched it, to be honest. So, by all accounts, decent outfit, though. Decent outfit. So, yeah, sorry, Lucas. Don't know too much about it. But from what I hear, seems to be doing big things. What's up, Bisping? My question is, do I think Colby Covington becomes champion before retirement? I don't know, man. I don't know. He's got a tough outing against Leon Edwards. We saw what Leon did to Kamaru Usman twice. We've seen the improvements from Leon Edwards. And I think it's a very, very tough fight for Colby Covington. If he can't beat Leon Edwards, I don't think he becomes champ. Now, it's not an easy fight for Leon. That fight could go either way. But I think it's a very tough fight for both men. I'd lean towards Leon Edwards. He just looked fucking fantastic last time out against Kamaru. You should debate Strickland on the Second Amendment. I should. But my only point about the Second Amendment stuff is the guns. Is that I come from a country where we don't have guns. I'm not trying to take away people's rights or anything like that. It's just that it's just crazy when I turn on the news every day and I see innocent people being killed. That's all I want. I just don't want people to get shot when they go to the mall. I don't want kids to get shot when they go to fucking schools. And maybe less guns might be a part of that. Now I understand the gun culture a bit more. But I just come from a country that doesn't have guns. I'm starting to understand it more now, though. I understand the culture more the longer I've been here in America. So, I stay out of it. Do what you want to do. I just come from a country that don't have guns, and most countries don't. So it's just a little weird for me. Jake Paul defeated Diaz, Woodley, Askren, and Silva. Jake Paul's only loss was to Tommy Fury. He used to do reality TV shows, right? What's your point, North London? Diaz was fucking awful. Woodley didn't show up and never does. Askren can't fight his way out of a wet paper bag. Silva was about 44. That was decent, though, to be fair. Jake Paul lost to Tommy Fury, who's the only professional boxer that he fought. He's picking out smaller guys, washed up, past their prime, far too old, that don't fucking box. There you go, North London. Put that in your pipe. Colby to win and complete the meme. Right, guys. I think that's it. I think I'm done. I think I'm going to go. Guys, thanks for watching. Hope that was fun for you. Had a lot of people on the stream here today. Much respect. Thank you all very, very much. Take care. Enjoy your weekends. Subscribe to the channel, please, if you haven't done that. Oh, mate, I know there's a lot of guns in the UK. There's a tremendous amount of guns. All the fucking criminals have them. Of course they do. But if you're caught with a gun, it's nothing like out here in the States, mate. Let me tell you that right now. Everybody has a gun. That's what I'm saying. So, yeah, there's guns in the UK, but not like the fucking States. Get a grip. Get a grip. Ladies, Barry Gizzard, you had your chance. You're done. Thanks, champ. Have a great day. Rob Mason, Adam, Green Tea, Paul Mann, Soul Licks. One last comment, recommendation. Please do a podcast with Sean Strickland. I'd love to, man. I'd love to. And once again, my thoughts to everyone out there in Morocco. So terrible. So terrible. Anson C, thank you. Kenny, my man. Andrew Fuller, Justin Watt, Matt Clow. If Stipe beats John Jones, does the next part of Tommy Two Legs' journey play out? Oh, God. Snafu, Dill Roberts, Colby's the GOAT. All you people, all 4,000 or 5,000 of you that were on here. Galida, Webby H, you're the guys. All right, I'm out of here. I'm done.